Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. I'm going to give you technical analysis for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I'll add an Elliott Wave for XRP and Solana. If it's Elliott Wave you're wanting for Bitcoin and or Ethereum, you will find it on our website by subscription. There are links in the description box below. Bitcoin is still moving sideways in this huge rectangle pattern, which really is testing our patience. Resistance is delineated in a small zone now, 73,100 to 71,100. Support 60,700 to about 58,200. The rectangle comes in the context of an upward trend at higher time frames. Because it comes after upward movement, 2/3 of them will break out up, 1/3 of them will break out down. So on balance of probability, an upward breakout is still expected as most likely. Within this consolidation, price swings from resistance to support with a little overshoot to resistance, and now we may expect potentially a downward swing to support within the rectangle to about 60,700, potentially as low as 58,200. However, there is a little bit of evidence that the low of the 1st of May may remain intact. In order for confidence in that, though, we need to see price close above resistance on an upward session, which must have support from volume for confidence in an upward breakout. For the short term, the strongest sessions are on upward sessions. The volume profile for the short term remains bullish. We may not get a signal from this range on balance volume because the resistance and support lines are diverging, and so the range is getting wider and wider. ADX is declining, telling us there's no clear trend. So reverting to a model of stochastics plus support and resistance for a trendless market tells us because stochastics reached overbought and price reached resistance to now expect a downward swing, and for stochastics to continue toward oversold and price to reach support simultaneously, and then the downward swing may end. Technicals on the weekly today for Ethereum. Last completed week is a very strong upward week with strong push from volume and a strong increase in range. We'll look for resistance on the way up at 4,000, 4,100 next. Price has been moving higher with really strong push from volume. This is a very bullish look for Ethereum. At the weekly time frame, ADX has a positive slope. The positive DX line is above the negative. ADX tells us there is an upward trend, which is a long way from as extreme as it can get for Ethereum. RSI is neutral and money flow is neutral. There is a long way to go before conditions with this upward trend reach very extreme. ATR continuing to show a strong increase as volatility continues to move in line with price. It's really normal for cryptocurrencies when they have strong bullish runs for volatility to increasing strongly throughout the middle and absolutely exploding at the end of their bullish runs. And so an increase in volatility is exactly what you would expect for a bullish run. This looks like a bull run. It does not look like a bear market rally. Technicals on the daily for Ethereum look for next resistance at 4,100. It's a little bit of a slowdown around resistance at 3,680. Testing of support now moving up and away. The volume profile at the daily is still bullish for Ethereum. The last couple of sessions here are the weekend, and Monday is closed in New York for Memorial Day. The UK is also closed, so I'm not expecting much for Monday. ADX at the daily time frame also tells us there's an upward trend, so at both time frames ADX tells us there's an upward trend, which is a long way to go before it reaches very extreme. RSI is only just overbought, but this can reach really deeply overbought and it can remain there while price travels a considerable distance. So on its own, just touching overbought is nowhere near a concern for this market. Money flow is neutral. ATR starting to show an increase as price moves higher. This is an extremely bullish look for Ethereum. The main Elliott Wave count for XRP, I'm considering a little triangle, may have just completed for a B wave. I'm considering a little second wave correction, may move just a little bit lower. For Minuet C to move below the end of A, below 0.4788 to avoid a truncation and complete a little zigzag. 5 triangle for B, 5-wave structure down for C now expected. At the daily time frame for technicals, there's an ascending triangle unfolding for XRP. We need to see a break above the resistance or below the support line in order to have confidence. There's a breakout from the triangle. When we get that, I'll use the triangle width to calculate a target for you. Resistance is holding about the 54-55 cent area, but we've had a couple of false breakouts above that area before, so if we see a close above 55 cents, I'm going to use a 3-day away rule or a close above this resistance line from the ascending triangle in order to have confidence in an upward breakout. Look for support at 49 cents. The volume profile for XRP is a little bit confusing, well, mixed, not confusing, just mixed. It's just not clear. This is the strongest recent session was an upward session, but this downward session is really close, and this upward session is only slightly weaker than this downward session, so quite mixed, neither really bullish nor bearish, slightly leaning bullish. On balance volume has a nice range, and because these lines are converging, we will get a signal from on balance volume for XRP. If it happens with a breakout from the ascending triangle, I'll use it as a confirmatory tool. If it happens prior to a breakout from the triangle, I'll use it as an advance signal. ADX is at a really low level. It's set itself up for a very strong signal, but at this time, no clear trend for XRP. RSI reached oversold at the last low for the 13th of April, strongly suggesting that that low is likely to remain intact, which suggests we're going to get an upward breakout from the ascending triangle is more likely than not. I still have the same two Elliott Wave counts for Solana. This is the main Elliott Wave count only because it has a much better fit in terms of Elliott Wave. From this high to this low, this is a 5-wave impulse. If that is correct, then primary wave 4 may not be complete there because corrections may not subdivide as 5-wave motive structures. What is a really common structure for a 4th wave is a zigzag, and they subdivide 5, 3, 5. So this wave count would expect C to move beyond the end of A to see a new low below 119.38481 to avoid a truncation and potentially to end at the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of primary 3 at 115.591576. However, I don't see good support from classic analysis for this main Elliott Wave count. I have some doubts about it. So what I want to see is the alternate invalidated. When I get to that, I'll show you what price point, and I want to see this trend channel around intermediate wave B breached with a full red daily candlestick, preferably a decent sized body on it, below and not touching this trend line. That'll meet my conservative definition of a channel breach, and then I would have a little bit of confidence in this main Elliott Wave count. For this one, if A is a 5, B may not move beyond the start of A above 209.69606. A new high by any amount at any time frame will invalidate this main Elliott Wave count because that Elliott Wave rule is absolute. A fraction of a cent on a tick chart is enough to immediately invalidate it. That's one of the really nice things about Elliott Wave. All bar one Elliott Wave rule is absolute, which gives us really clear, strong price points beyond which our wave counts are invalid. For the short term, this one would be invalid below 158.37582. A new low by any amount at any time frame below that point invalidates this alternate and gives me more confidence in the main Elliott Wave count. This considers what if primary 4 was complete here, will it subdivide as a complete Elliott Wave corrective structure even though it looks like a 5? Sometimes 3s can look like 5s and 5s can look like 3s. I know that sounds annoying, but it's just one of the problems with Elliott Wave, and so you have to consider both. Be open-minded and flexible. It's possible primary 4 could be a complete double combination, zigzag, X, expanded flat for Y, but combinations should be sideways movements like that rectangle on Bitcoin. That's a big sideways movement. That's what a combination should look like. This doesn't look like that. This has got a strong counter trend slope, does not look like a normal combination, reduces the probability of this wave count in Elliott Wave terms, but there is a bit of support from classic analysis, and that's the problem with probability. This is a low probability outcome. Sometimes low probability outcomes do occur, and when they occur, they will never be what you expected as most likely, which means you have to be open-minded and flexible, consider and use alternates, and use the price points based on Elliott Wave rules beyond which they are invalidated. For this one, if primary 4 is complete there, then I'll look for intermediate 1 within primary 5 to be an incomplete impulse, minor 1, 2, 3, 4 may not move into 1, below 158.37582. That rule is absolute. Do not accept Elliott Wave counts that violate that rule. That's one of the most commonly violated or ignored Elliott Wave rules. Don't accept wave counts that violate that, because when you want to violate Elliott Wave rules, you're leaving your analysis open to being subjective, especially if you have your own money in the market. This wave count now sees a 5-wave structure up for minor 5 to complete a 5-wave impulse for intermediate wave 1. Technicals for Solana At these lows, we have a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern and a bullish piercing pattern, both bullish reversal patterns about support at 118. The moving average situation is overall bullish. The short is above the mid, is above the long has a positive slope, and price is above the mid and long. Look for support now about 159, resistance, I need to change this from support to resistance, now at 168. If price can move back above that area, look for next resistance at 210. For the short term, the volume profile is slightly bullish. Volume was pushing price higher, and now price is moving a little bit lower. Volume is declining, so volume is supporting upward movement and not supporting downward movement. That supports the alternate Elliott Wave count. ADX is declining. There's no clear trend for Solana at this time frame. At the last lows, RSI got close to oversold but didn't quite get there, but it did exhibit weak bullish divergence. That supports the alternate Elliott Wave count. ATR starting to show a little bit of an increase with that upward movement, so a little bit of volatility within what could be a third wave, and so that supports the alternate Elliott Wave count. Because there's no clear trend, a model of stochastics plus support and resistance would expect overall stochastics to continue lower to oversold while price continues lower to support, and if they were to reach those areas simultaneously, that may be the end of a downward swing. That's it for me today with your update. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend. I'm in London this week, and then next week I'll be on the road as I move over to France and travel all the way down to the south of France, where we've found hopefully what's going to be a really good, nice point break to surf for a few weeks. While I'm traveling next week, I might not be able to give you daily videos while I'm on the road. I'll see how that schedule unfolds, but I will endeavour to give you daily videos this week.